Good morning. Um, Morning, Deb. So here we are, Thursday. Wait, yeah, Thursday. I'm getting ahead of myself. I thought it was Friday. Thursday, coming towards the end of the week. Feels a little warmer today, maybe, than yesterday. Yesterday got windy, which is cold around here. Um, but, you know, I'm still waiting for my 50-degree day. So normally, as I recall, February. And the funny thing is, of course, our memory is always very faulty. And I do appreciate, I'm not sure how much I like Google keeping tabs on me, but Friday Eve. Hey, that's good, Deb. I wish that's that's something to remember. Friday Eve. Um, what was I saying? Oh, that was so good. It just completely drove all my thoughts out of my head here. Um, I'll have to tell my husband that because he's a big fan of Fridays. So if he can think of Thursday as Friday Eve, I think that would really cheer him up. Good morning, Dora. He's had a hard week, as you know, have we all. But he's really putting in a lot of extra time with all this record keeping and such for the vaccination. So it's good, right? I mean, he's really getting to put a lot of his skills to work. But this is the third week, right? So and there's no particular end in sight. So I think I'm gonna come to be even more appreciative of how much Dave used to do around the house because he's not doing it now. That's okay. Um, so what was I saying? Something about it's gone. We were talking about Thursday, and we were talking about how it wasn't Friday, it was Thursday, and the weather, and I don't know. All right, that's okay. We'll talk about something else. So I was reading a little something before class, and I really liked what it was talking about, and it was talking about how so we talked about this earlier in the week. This idea that recognizing a behavior and then changing it. Right? There's just two steps. First is recognizing, right, that a behavior that we're doing, or a way that we're thinking, or something is maybe not the best, and we want to change it, and that we can change it, right? And then putting that into action is the second part. So this idea of recognizing behavior patterns is, I think, very important, um, because not just because we are going to see when we're sort of going down that road, so we can step in and change things, but good morning, Susan. Um, yeah, there's a little sunshine today. Um, but we're recognizing that it's within us, right? So people that have anxiety, right? People that have depression, these are two big issues for a lot of people. And they're kind of two sides to the same coin, although you could have both together. But a lot of times people have more struggles with one rather than the other. What's the important thing to realize is that it's within you, right? So people might think in order to deal with their anxiety, they just have to stop getting into anxious positions, right? Good morning, Gwen. Um, right? So reduce my stress, and then I won't have to feel anxious or I won't have stress related issues in my body. And But what we need to recognize is that the problem is within you, right? The problem isn't out there. I mean, scary things are going to happen. Worrisome things are going to happen. There's no way to insulate yourself from that. Well, I mean, I guess maybe you could if you stayed in your house and never did anything. But even that could be stressful. You could get bored. You could feel stressed because you're not doing what you're supposed to do, not holding up your end of responsibilities, right? So we're not even going to go there because that's just crazy. But that's what happens, right? People try to do that. People try to isolate themselves. They try to control their environment to this massive degree, thinking that is the solution. But they have it the wrong way. The solution is to change how you're feeling about it, right? And the first step is understanding that you can, right? So if you are feeling anxiety, it's not what's happening out here's fault. It's the way you are processing what's happening. Right? And this can be as simple as stopping what you're doing, right? Um, you want to recognize what are the signs, right? With anxiety, it could be, you start thinking kind of obsessively about certain things. You start thinking very negatively. Start like listing maybe all the bad things that might happen, and planning like what are you going to do if this happens? What are you going to do if this happens? Right? Um, so letting go of that, and when you see that start to happen, everybody has their own little, you know, little pile of habits or behaviors. Um, and one thing that we try to do with yoga is observe, right? Observe our behavior, observe our patterns, so that we can understand what is uniquely our way of dealing with things. And then we can see, like, is that working or is it not working? Um, if it's not, then we can change it. We can stop these patterns before they really get going. We can discard those thoughts and move on to, and sometimes, I mean, it sounds crazy, but sometimes it really is that simple. Discarding the thoughts, not following down that sort of dark rabbit hole. Instead, turn your thoughts to something positive. Do something positive. Um, get out of the house. Get moving. Um, bring in other things. Um, and then depression, the same sort of thing, right? Depression, people may be in a situation that is causing depression, right? They may be in a very difficult, struggling, and a lot of times depression comes when people feel stuck, right? You feel stuck in this place and there's nowhere to go. You feel trapped, right? Um, the first thing to realize is, right, that, you know, your situation isn't the problem. How you're dealing with it, right? I mean, it could be the problem if you really are stuck, but you can't even begin to address that if all you're going to do is just internalize this feeling of powerlessness and inability to do anything. So, discarding that, right? Um, Instead, looking, right? What can you change? Can you change anything? If not, then you've made this choice. You've made the choice not to change it. So then you work with it. Um, it's all about choice and how you want to look at things. It does not mean great things are always going to happen to you. They won't. But it's not personal, right? I think a lot of times that's the worst of this, is that people feel like they're somehow being singled out for punishment, either uh, scary things, bad things, or nothing, right? Happening. My life is so boring. My life is so routine. Everybody's life is like that. Everybody's life is routine. Everybody's life is scary and it's happy and it's crazy um, at different times. Right? And it isn't all about you. Right? You feel like it is because you're you, but it's bigger than that. And that's what we have to remember, trying to keep our perspective. We are just one piece of a giant puzzle. We are one little cog in a machine that spans the universe. The things that happen to us are very important to us, but they are just a drop of water in a giant ocean. So when we can hold that perspective, things don't seem quite so heavy. Right? Um, there may be very good reasons for what is happening. We're just, you know, caught in the crossfire to some extent. Um, and I think that is helpful in dealing with difficult situations because we, as our our little human nature, is to assign blame. Right? My husband used to work at a place, not where he works now, but another company that was a very difficult place to work at. A lot of conflict and people always, you know, a lot of people getting in real bad confrontations with one another. It's just a really difficult place to work, and that was a big thing. Was this idea of blame? Whose fault is everything? And how can we punish them for what they've done wrong? So we used to call it blame storming, right? So blame storming, right, is when you spend all this time and effort trying to figure out whose fault it was, when you could have taken all that time and effort instead to work on a solution. It doesn't matter why something happened. Um, I mean, it could to some extent if you want to learn, if it really is your fault and you want to learn from your mistakes. But the real issue is, how are we going to get past this problem? Um, it may have nothing to do with you. It could just be something that happened to someone else and you're getting the fallout. Classic sign of this is, when you run into somebody who's so difficult and so unpleasant, and you are like, well, why are they acting like this? I think I'm being polite. I think I'm being nice. Why are they being so unkind to me or so rude? It's probably not about you at all. It probably doesn't have anything to do with you. You're just in the firing range, right? Um, so taking some of our life a little less personally is a good way to be, especially when it comes to interactions with other people. We don't know their story. We don't know what they are struggling with, and we don't need to know that, right? We need to know is that all um, we all have troubles. We all have worries. We can have compassion for each other and kindness, and understand that we're not the only people struggling now, or anytime. Everyone is. Everyone is, just to a greater or lesser extent. Even people that look so good on the outside. Like, they have everything, right? They have all the money and they have a nice car and everything looks great. They're probably working very hard to make that all look very easy. So let's extend a little compassion to each other and to ourselves and give people the benefit of the doubt. Try not to let the things that are going on in your life bleed out onto other people in a negative way. Um, it can be hard to do that, right? But understand that you can do that, other people can do that, and it turns into it makes our life and our world a very hostile place. If we can refrain from that, if we can instead give people that benefit of the doubt, um, things change, and it's within your power to do that. So recognizing when things are starting to go south is good. It gives you a chance to step in and stop before you're really spiraling into whatever version of hell you you tend to carry around with you, right? I mean, we all have um, issues and problems in our life. We have things we have trouble managing. Um, they can be uh, situations, right? Like short-term situations, or they can be long-term, just personality quirks, just different ways our minds work, right? I mean, there is a myriad of difficulties that we can get into. Um, and yoga teaches us how to deal with this. One of the best definitions of yoga I've ever heard is it is the practice of dealing with the consequences of being you. And I love that because it really is just that. It is trying to figure out how to live your best life. Not what can I do to change everything about myself? It's how can I make the best of what I have? How can I do the things I want to do, live the life that I want to live in the body that I have, in the head that I have, the emotions that I have? How can I optimize all of that to live my best life? Yoga gives you tools for this. And you may change over time. You may find that things aren't as heavy, that some of these patterns and behaviors that you have, you want to let go of, you want to change. Um, but there's no requirement to do that. The requirement is that you work on it, that you work on the yamas and the niyamas. You try to improve your life. And by that, by that extension of that is that you improve everyone's life around you. So it's a great thing. It's a really good thing. But, you know, every day is every day is another battle. Um, we are called to look at what we're doing and to see how we can improve. Some days are easier than others. I don't know. I feel like this time of year, I'd rather just go to bed and deal with it when the weather gets warm. I'm a bear at heart. I would just hibernate. You know, that would be fine with me. I keep looking for my turtle. So we when we walk the dog down at the park, there's a big turtle that lives in. There's an old lock for the old canal that used to before they built the big C&D canal. And there's this turtle. He's big, big turtle, and I keep looking for him. We would see him almost every day when the weather was warm. And I wonder, I guess he hibernates. I guess they go under the mud and hang out down there. And it'll be a while before I see him, I know. But I often think of him sleeping there and how nice that would be to just rest for a few months, and you would just miss all the cold weather and it'd be nice and warm when you got up. I don't know. It doesn't sound too bad to me. I guess I wouldn't like sleeping in the mud too much, but sitting up nice and tall, breathe. And then we're going to hang the head down, chin down toward the chest. Moving around, big circle. One way and then the other. Back to center, lean forward, move around. one way and the other. Back up, arms wide, take a deep breath. Exhale, hands together. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Once more. Inhale and exhale. Interlace the fingers, lift the hands. Gazing up and then arms down by your side. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Let's lift the shoulders, roll back. And forward. Left hand on right knee, right arm behind, sitting up tall for a deep breath and then a twist. So when we're doing these type of seated twists, we're always lifting up before we twist. Back to center, switch. So this kind of extends the spine, gives us the most space. And then back to center, tabletop. Let's move through cat-cow. A few sets here. Inhales and exhales. And sitting back on your heels. Maybe stack the fists and rest here for a few breaths. Child's pose. Coming back up. Tabletop to downward dog. I'm going to move around here. And then step the feet up to the hands. And we'll be here in a fold. Breathe. And then rising up. Breath in and breath out. Inhale, lift, arms high. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, right foot steps back. Drop your knee. Lift the arms. Hands down to the mat. We're moving back. Downward dog. Inhale, high plank. And lower down. Inhale, lift, head and chest. Then lower. Inhale, lift. Lower. Lift. And lower. Moving back up. You come up to tabletop or upward dog. Ending up in downward dog. One more breath. Then we'll step right foot up. Drop the knee. Arms overhead. And then hands to the mat. Back foot steps up. Fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift high. Back to mountain. Breath in. Breath out. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, left foot steps back. Drop your knee. Arms overhead. Hands down to the mat. Stepping back. Downward dog. Inhale, high plank. And then lower down. Inhale, lift head and chest. Lower. Inhale, lift. And lower. Once more, lift. And lower. Moving back up. Ending up in downward dog. One more breath. And then left foot steps up. Drop your knee, arms overhead. And hands to the mat. Back foot steps up. Fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift arms. And we're back to mountain. Breath in. And breath out. It's moved again. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold.
Inhale, flat back, and then on the exhale, we're stepping back with the left. Press down to rise up, warrior one. One more breath. Move to warrior two. Right arm extends, left arm behind. Flip that right hand, lift it up high. One more breath, and right hand or arm comes down. On the thigh, pull that left shoulder back. Left arm lifts. Side angle. And then we're going to turn to face the leg here. Hands down to the mat and straighten out that right leg. So we're folding over the right leg. If you can't reach all the way down, you just have the hand on the leg, that's fine. We're just going to fold over. And then let's make our way back up. Turn the foot. So we're facing side of the mat. Hands at the waist. Take a deep breath. And fold. Weight is in the front part of the feet. Heels are light. Then rising up. Take a breath. Turn, so we're facing front of the mat. Right leg is out, left leg behind. Feet are about the width of the mat. Bring the hands together. Squeeze the shoulders back and fold. Press down with the right foot, rising up. Back foot steps to the front, arms overhead. And back to mountain. Breath in and breath out. Stepping out to the side again. Hands at the waist. Take a breath in, fold forward. And back up. Hands up over the head. and then back. We're going to walk the feet together and then come up top of the mat. Arms overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step that right foot back. Press down and rise up. Warrior one. And then move to warrior two. Flip the palm and lift up. Left arm lifts, right arm by your side. And then left arm comes down. Pull that right shoulder back. Breathe. Turning to face that left leg, we're going to bring the hands down, straightening the leg. Or you can just have hands on the leg. And then walk the hands up. We'll turn. So we're facing the side of the mat. Hands at the waist, but let's bring them back. So we are moving the elbows back. I don't think you're going to get them together. Maybe you will. I can't. We're going to take a deep breath. Fold forward. And maybe you're only going to go about halfway here, right? Because the elbows are going to want to come down. We're fighting against that. Back up. Release the hands. Up overhead. And back down by your side. Facing the front again, this time left leg out, right leg back. Deep breath. Fold forward. Rise up. Back foot steps to the front. Arms overhead. Back to mountain. Breath in and breath out. Let's do tree here. So standing on the left, right foot, kickstand or further up. Find the level that works for you. That right knee is out to the side. Steady with the breath. Gaze eye level or higher. And then set the foot down, switch. Again, whatever we did on the one side, we will endeavor to do on the other. Breathe. And then set the foot down, bicycle out the legs. And let's step out into Warrior Three. So hands together, stepping out with the left. We'll start lifting the back foot as you lean forward. See how it goes. Finding your steady balance today. Who knows where that will be? Every day is a surprise. And then set the foot down. We'll switch. Now stepping out right and lifting. Keeping that slight bend in your standing leg is helpful. It reminds you to keep the muscles engaged instead of just locking the knee and kind of hanging out there. And then set the foot back down, bicycle out the legs. And let's come down to a seat on the mat. Soles of the feet together. Take a deep breath. Lean forward. One back up, both legs out in front. Deep breath in, fold forward. Moving back up. Let's point and flex the feet. Remember, if you have that tendency to have the foot cramp, don't try pointing the toes. Instead, just leave the toes relaxed. So you're coming forward more with the ball of the foot. And then rotate the ankles around one way and the other. Bend the knees. Lower down or rock back. Relax. Take a few breaths. Right ankle on top of left knee. You might be here pressing that knee away. Or we bring the left thigh closer in, bringing it down toward the chest. Rest of the body stays flat on the mat. Foot down, switch. And then set both feet down. Let's bring the knees together, walk the feet to the edges of the mat, and just rest here. Breathe. And then we're going to do a supported bridge here. So look at a block. Oh no, my block is, oh no, I can get it. It's not too far away. Heels back close to the body. And then lifting up. Find a good place for the block. It can be flat or on its end, whatever you want to do. Relax and breathe. If you feel like bringing the knees in or extending the legs, you can. And then set the feet back down. Lifting up. Set the block aside. Bring soles of the feet together. Relax and breathe. Knees back to center. Walk the feet to the edges of the mat. Goalpost arms or arms to a T. We're lowering to the right, gazing left. And then knees go left, gazing right. And then back to center. We're going to move into Shavasana. You could extend the legs here. You could bring the knees into the chest and then extend the legs straight up. Whatever you want to do to get into a comfortable place for Shavasana. This is the time to do that. And then once you are there, find that peaceful place. So when we talk about changing our behaviors, it seems like maybe a lot of work, right? And it can be a little work at first to try to get everything in order, right? Being aware of what's going on. But we can do it step by step, right? Addressing each thing that is maybe giving you issues with, figuring out the most important thing. So when I try to do something like cleaning my house or cleaning a particular room, I try to identify what is the thing that bothers me the most, right? What's driving this, right? Did I decide today I have to clean this? Usually it's because there's something, pile of something that's been left somewhere, something in particular that really needs to get done. So if I could get that done, then I really feel good. And then I could go to the next thing. Okay, well then after that, what other thing bothers you? This is a great way to look at our kind of state of mind, our state of being. What is it that gives you the most trouble? And then that might be something you want to observe. See how that works for you. Why does that happen? Right? What are the triggers for that? What set of circumstances bring you to that point? And what are the steps that get you there? I think about when they talk about like things that happen, like disasters. Well, not really disasters, but like I would say man-made disasters, right? Um, Catastrophic failures when something like a bridge falls down, or there's a chain of events that have led to some kind of very tragic thing happening. They talk about, right, the chain of events. It doesn't usually happen out of nowhere. There are signs, there are signals, there are steps, and at each one of those steps, if something had changed, the outcome would be different. And we can look at our behavior the same way. We have many opportunities to change the trajectory that we are heading on. We don't miss. If you miss one opportunity, you're given many more. So being aware of how you get to where you are is important, so you can intervene at any given time and maybe put the brakes on it, so you don't get deep down into that hole or really spun up in a real web of anxiety. Once we know these things, then it can become, it's kind of a habit. And if you think about it, most of what we do in our day is habit, right?
if you were to sit down and write down all the things you did in a day, you'd probably be impressed. All the different steps that you took to get things done. We don't think about them because they become um, automatic, right? We are moving through our day as we do much almost every day, right? Um, and this is how it can be with sort of our mental health, our emotional health as well. If we develop good habits and um, we start understanding what we need to do to get ourselves in a good state of mind, that can become a habit too, so that we don't even think about it. When this happens, we immediately do this other thing, and the outcome is better. Moving then, fingers and toes, hands and feet. When you're ready, coming up to a seat on the mat. And then we're bringing hands together. Breath in, breath out. Thank you for taking time this morning for yoga and for sharing it here with me. I hope that you have a very good Thursday and that maybe you get out to enjoy the sun. Namaste. Thank you. Meditation time. Preserve that peaceful state of mind. Sitting comfortably. Breath in and breath out. Just a natural breath, not trying to control the breath in any way. Focusing lightly. Okay, we're back. I hope you enjoyed 5 minutes of peaceful meditation and your yoga for today. Enjoy your day, and I will be back tomorrow.